The best man has something to say. Noah Robinson, everybody.
I just want to propose a toast to the love and happiness for Chris and Santa.
Noah Robinson, everybody. So, I've known Chris a while. I moved down here. My dad had a job that we moved every 5 years. So I was born in Wisconsin, moved to Ohio. In 5th grade, I moved here. My 4th or 5th day I was here, I meet Chris on a soccer field. So I was about 9 years old. I've known him forever, and like I said, with my father moving everywhere, we left. We were only here for about 5 years. Those years between 10 to 15 is kind of an important time because you learn a lot about yourself during that time. Those times where you're meeting girls and you're figuring out who you're gonna be and you're gonna whatever. Well, I move away in 10th grade and I move away for 20 years. Those years being gone, we actually stayed in touch all this time. And I think the reason why, I've known him for this long and stayed in touch with him this long, we did different things as kids. We did, we did the sports thing, when we met when we were kids and, playing soccer. Another reason never to put your kids in soccer. But if when we started skateboarding, for example, nobody could, if you lose, you lose. So you started hanging out with individuals then Chris bought a guitar and he was like, I'm gonna learn how to play this thing. And I'm like, whatever, I'm gonna keep skateboarding. And then all of a sudden girls started paying attention to him and I was like, I'm gonna get a guitar. So I got a guitar and that's where things started to get further. When you're in a band with somebody and you care that much about stuff, you share a lot of things, that you normally wouldn't do. When you're writing stuff, it's kind of personal. But the idea of that, I moved away in 10th grade and I felt like I was torn away from something that was really important to me. 20 years later, we stayed in touch, all that stuff. We both kept playing in bands. And he calls me and he's like, why don't you go on tour? And I was like, okay, we'll go on tour. And he's like, come to Florida. I was like, all right, cool. So we came down here on tour. Hadn't seen him in forever. And it just it never stopped, I guess. And when you're close to somebody like that, for example, when we go to me, my wife, and him and Sandra, we'll go on a trip and we go by a Guitar Center. It's like they're going to get Spinal Taps and me and Chris are going to Disney World. Like it's like all we care about is gear and fun, nobody cares and they're so bored, but we get it. And I think we stayed close because of the music and the individualism. But then I realized that I think why we stayed so close was because my family was real close, his family's very close, and his parents have been kind of my surrogate parents for, since I guess I was 9. And so here we are, a lot of years later, and we got down here. I met Sandra. I really liked her. We started a business together, me, her, and Jen. And you look at the families and you look at the closeness and you look at the why you're close with somebody, and it all makes sense. What I'd like to do is raise a toast to one of my best friends in the world, and I love you guys, and I love Sandra, Sandra, look at me. I work with her every day, Chris. Be nice to her, because I'll take her side every fucking time. So,